Okay, all right, for the next thing, the next part of our learning about Flash and walk cycles, this is kind of primarily related to Flash and the different kinds of symbols that Flash has and the benefits. Earlier on, you saw me take a symbol or take a piece of art and convert it to a symbol using the graphics selection. So that's good, but the graphics don't have a timeline, and sometimes it's really, really useful for a symbol to have its own timeline, like in the case of our walk cycle here. So an example would be, what if I want to take this walk cycle, the entire cycle, all these frames, and resize it and make it smaller, for example, over here? Or what happens if I want to have two of them, or three, or many? And so what I'm going to show you how to do is how to take this walk cycle that we've created and make a movie clip out of it so that you can further work with it. So I have placed my cursor starting at the left up here by clicking in this first timeline keyframe. I'm holding the Shift key down, and what I'm doing is making sure that I have selected all of the frames between first position of keyframe 1 and keyframe 4 here in all layers. Again, I'll do that again. Click, hold the Shift key down, keep it held down. Click, hold the Shift key down, and get all of these frames. Once you have those, you will right-click, and this is important, right-click. This brings up this keyframe menu. This will work with any keyframe. Just right-click, and you can now copy frames. So I'm now going to insert a new symbol, which will be inserted into my library, and I'm going to call that new symbol Walking Man. And I'll label it MC so that I know it's a movie clip. And as you can see, I have now created a movie clip. It's over here, but it doesn't have anything in it yet because I haven't pasted those frames. So I go to the first frame in the timeline. I right-click again, and when I paste frames, it pastes all of the frames where they need to be. A couple of things that I need to do here, as I can see, I've actually pasted frames that I don't need in here. So I will actually just get rid of those. Get rid of those just by removing frames. And I'll remove that frame too. All right, so now I have this nice movie clip. That's great. But it's not in the main timeline. It's not in scene 1 of the main timeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to delete all of those layers that were in the main timeline. And now we're going to make a layer. Whoops. Now we're going to make a layer, and we're going to drag this entire movie clip into that layer. So as you can see, this entire walk cycle now is included in this layer. And if I test my movie, I can see I have the entire timeline in there. And I know this to be true because if I look up here, I can see here's my scene. And then if I click into my scene, I can see the movie clip contained within the scene. So here's the scene, and here is the movie clip within the scene with all of its keyframes. So let's go back to that scene. So you don't see anything in this timeline with the exception of this keyframe right here. Now, the advantage of this is, let's say I want to make him smaller. Okay. Now let's say I want to drag in another one. Now let's go ahead and play both of those. So the benefit here is that I can have full control of that animated little movie within one symbol that I can manipulate. Again, I'm just testing my movie. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with movie clips, just like you saw with graphics properties. So as you can see, this is an instance, this is a movie clip, that's the kind of symbol it is. What we're seeing here is an instance of our walking man. Okay, and these are the current sizes and positions. And then these are the different views that you can create, 3D position and view. We'll talk about that in another time. And then these are the different alpha choices that I can make. And then I can decide to make it visible or not. And then this allows me to decide, very much like Photoshop, how I'm going to have that appear on the screen. I'll just make it normal for right now. And then of course there's other things that I can do that particularly apply to control in ActionScript. So there's a lot of benefit to this thing.